Grant with Smooth here, and I am back with another library of animal flow moves to integrate into your movement practice. This library contains 34 exercises that are going to help you dial in your balance and stability, and this is really the foundation when it comes to animal flow and any sort of ground movement practice. Hang around to the end of the video for a little breakdown on how to integrate this into your workout program. And if you're enjoying this content, like the video and subscribe to the Smooth channel for more fitness and lifestyle content. Before hopping into these core exercises, let's mobilize those wrists. Start by clasping the hands together, rolling one wrist forward over the other. Keep heavy through the elbows to keep the range of motion in the wrists. Focus on a smooth glide of the wrists that feels good. Next, reach the hands above the head and actively squeeze and open the hands. Focus on strong activation through the hands on both the squeeze and open so you start to feel connection down into the shoulders and back. At any point during the wrist mobilizations or core exercises, feel free to shake the hands out and relieve some tension. Bring the elbows to the side bodies and draw a figure 8 with your hands by leading the way with the thumbs. Do your best to keep the elbows quiet to mobilize the wrists. Reverse the movement by leading the figure 8 with the pinkies. Start this movement by pressing the backs of the hands together, fingertips down in a reverse prayer position. As you maintain a light pressure through each hand, bring the fingertips forwards, then down, and then scoop underneath to create a circle. Reverse the movement to mobilize in both directions. Start your stability work in this position. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees on the ground underneath the hips, and toes tucked under, driving into the ground. Focus on connecting through the ground through all 6 points of contact. Breathing in the nose, expanding the torso in all directions, and out the mouth as if blowing through a straw to naturally activate the core. Once you're feeling some heat, it's time to add limb lifts. Lift your right foot and knee an inch off the ground and hold for 3 to 5 seconds. Return to 6 points and then repeat with the other leg. Then lift one hand off the ground by retracting the shoulder blade and hold that position for 3 to 5 seconds. You can progress the limb lifts by lifting opposite arm and leg an inch off the ground and holding for 3 to 5 seconds. Alternate, finding a better sense of stability and balance in the process. Turn the contralateral limb lift into a rhythmic march, sinking into the ground and then pressing away from the ground as you lift opposite arm and leg off the ground. Continue with this flow and find your center. Time to bump up the intensity. Elevate the knees 1 to 2 inches off the ground in Beast. Build stability and heat through the body by focusing on expansive inhales and activating exhales. To progress this position, add single limb lifts. Maintain stability with 3 limbs as you cycle through each limb lift. Maintain each lift for 3 to 5 seconds before returning. Continue to challenge your balance with contralateral limb lifts, raising opposite hand and foot an inch off the ground, holding for a period of time, and then returning back to 4-point Beast. These limb lifts can be super challenging, so focus on doing your best. Embrace the shakes and wobbles, breathe, and know that you don't need to strain to maintain the perfect position. Weight shifts and falling is totally natural and a key part of getting better. These next exercises apply more dynamic movement to the stable foundation you are building. Turn the contralateral limb lifts into a march in place. One thing I like to do with this one is to lift the limbs a little bit higher and feed into a slight rotation through the core. This gives the move a more natural feel and applies to the crawling pattern. Limb lift circles provide a unique coordination challenge to the Beast position. I recommend doing these on a mat, rug, or grass to get into a nice sensory experience through the hands. Beast shoulder taps are perfect for some quick core activation, and I personally love throwing them into a core circuit. Activate the Beast and tap one shoulder with the opposite hand. Hold briefly to challenge stability and return the hand down to the ground, repeating on the other side. Beast ankle taps are perfect for challenging contralateral stability while moving through active external rotation of the hip. Lift opposite hand and foot, externally rotate your foot in, and tap hand to foot. Lift opposite hand and foot, driving the lifted side knee underneath the torso and rotate the body. Sit down on the hip and return back to center. For an added challenge, keep the knee and hip hovering off the ground and hold briefly before returning back to center. Last exercise in the Beast position is Beast circles. This is simply a great way to hit a wide range of angles and open up the body to new movement potential. The 5-point crab is a great starting point to activate the back, open the shoulders, and stretch the chest. Start with the hands shoulder width apart with fingers pointed in the opposite direction of toes. Drive the hands and feet through the ground while keeping the butt on the ground. This will lift the heart and activate the hips. Focus on expansive inhales and activating long exhales. Add the limb lifts to modify the position, focusing on the points that are in contact with the ground for stability. Lift each limb off the ground, holding for 3 to 5 seconds, and breathe, doing your best to maintain center. Reduce the contact points and increase stability challenge with contralateral limb lifts, hovering opposite hand and foot just an inch off the ground. Add tempo and rhythm, turning these limb lifts into a march. Focus on grounding through the contact points that are available to you with the butt and opposite hand and foot. Level up the crab by simply pressing through all 4 limbs and lifting your butt 1 inch off the ground. Stay heavy through the pelvis, maintaining a crease at the front of the hips and extending slightly through the heart. Breathe and connect with the ground while keeping your eyes on the horizon. Once you're feeling confident with the static crab, challenge yourself with single limb lifts. Do your best to maintain the crab position as you lift and hold each limb for 3 to 5 seconds. Progress the position with a lift of opposite hand and foot. Again, focusing on supporting limbs driving through the ground. Add rhythm, and now you're marching. And this one you could even call the dancing crab. To add some dynamic movement to the crab limb lifts, start with shoulder taps, providing a task to work on your stability and balance. Use the crab ankle taps to feel into natural weight shifting and active rotation through the hips. Use a pause and press foot and hand into each other for a deeper level of connection. Lastly, support your torso by driving 4 limbs through the ground and create a circle with the pelvis, hitting different angles of support with crab circles. The ape position is simply a squat. The cool thing about the ape is there are variations in this position to cater to your current level of mobility or simply to change things up with your training. Find what works for you and start there. Forward fold to ape activates the hips, knees, and ankles while creating length through the body. Start in a forward fold, pulling hips towards heels into a deep knee bend. Then pull the hips high into a straight leg. Focus on an active stretch. Bent knees are totally fine in the forward fold. Prioritize that active stretch and your legs will straighten out over time. The Ape Rock is a great starting point to get more comfortable and strong in the squat. Reach a couple feet in front of the body, rocking into both hands. Press back into the squat and repeat. Add variety to this movement by pointing and reaching hands out at a 45-degree angle while keeping your eyes on the horizon. Touch your knees to the ground if you can, and press back to the ape position. Progress the ape rock by reaching and rocking onto one hand, stabilizing and then rocking back into ape. You can do the single arm rock by reaching to the same side. I find this more challenging. Or by reaching across the body in front of the opposite shoulder. Play around with different angles while maintaining a good sense of center. The lateral ape rock opens up more degrees of freedom within the squat. Place your hands to one side, fingertips pointed away from you. Maintain the eyes on the horizon in front of you and rock out to the side, touching knee to ground between the hands. Press back and repeat on the other side. Progress the lateral ape rock by placing one hand down on the ground as you support the body in the rock. Once you get this down, you can start to lift the opposite leg off the ground and challenge balance in a totally new way. The lifting of the leg is incredibly challenging, and if you fall, good. That means you're learning. Continue to show up for it, and I know you'll be able to master this challenging move from the ape position.
Here's a quick routine that you can use to integrate these exercises into your practice. I recommend selecting 1 to 2 exercises in each of the positions that we went over in the video. We've got the ape, beast, and crab, along with those modified positions of the 6-point beast and the 6-point crab. Once you've selected the exercises that you want to do for your stability and balance, go ahead and set a timer for 30 to 45 seconds and do your best to work within the framework of those exercises in that given time frame. If you lose balance, you get tired, you need to rest, that's all good. Just simply show up for those 30 to 45 seconds and get that work in. Go through your exercises 1 to 2 rounds, and you're gonna have your balance and stability dialed in for your workout, dialed in for your animal flow, dialed in for any ground movement practice, and you're gonna be able to dial in all the little details and some of those more challenging movements that are outlined in that first animal flow library. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to do so. That's all I've got for you in today's video. Be sure to like it, subscribe to this Move channel, and let us know how this went in the comments below. We'll be back with more. Until then, stay smooth.